face look absolutely beautiful. So she's preparing for a role, figuratively. She goes into her bedroom and she puts the video cassette of the film. Which film? Yeah. And because what's important about that film?
It's the wife of the king in India.
Mm-hmm. But did she?
Did she? Because the king loved his wife very much, and built Taj Mahal for her.
Right, right. But did she also get an award for that?
Because he said that he wants to be get a role in the end of her life.
Yeah, no, that's right.
Yes,
that's right. That's right. But this movie was also important because she ended up winning Best Actress award. So what she does, she presses play. She is basically just playing that film on her television. The film begins, and then she tells Ram to go shopping, basically to leave her. And so he returns. She's dead. And so what does Ram do? Yeah, he runs away. He doesn't want to get caught. He doesn't want people to think that he murdered her. So eventually he finds a new job at a foundry. But then he's worried all the time that police are going to come to arrest him, but they never do. And they basically say her death is, I guess, a suicide, or she kills herself. And so the next question, now we're transitioning back in the present day. Next question is talking specifically about Nalima. For Nalima Kumari, what year did she win the Best Actress Award? And he knows immediately what the answer is. Do you think that Prem Kumar, do you think that they're really happy that he's answering these questions correctly? Yeah. You may be right, I don't know, but I do. He sounds really happy, but we read at the beginning that they can't afford to pay that much money for all the money he's won. So they may be getting more nervous as he continues to answer all these questions correctly.
Just pretend.
Yeah, yeah.
The audience.
So any questions before we move on?
It's not paying money, sponsor money.
Right, right.
Yeah, well, how
It's not his.
Kumar is not happy.
Well, I think he's associated with the game show. I think more so the people who are with the game show don't want it to happen because they're having to figure out how to pay him money. It won't have to be his personal money, but he's in charge of the game show. So in some ways, he might have some responsibility to make sure he doesn't win a ton of money. So even though it's not his personal money, he's associated with the show. So in a way, he still should be worried because that show will have to pay money to the sponsors if he continues to answer all these questions correctly. But anyway, I don't think it's his personal money, unless he's very kind. But I don't think it's his personal money. Any questions before we move on?
So do you think who cuts Nariman's eyes and cut
That's why.
Who cuts it? Who do you guys think? Who do you guys?
Aron did cut under her
So she was lying in bed with a long, deep cut under her left eye. So there's a long, deep cut, probably here. And what are you asking? Who? Yeah. So I think it's implied that it's the same man that had beaten her up before, did the same thing to her now. Any other questions? Okay.
leave it. Her love.
Huh?
He can't leave from her love. Why?
Which part? Can you read it for me?
Can't leave.
Nói nào đó
Why don't you leave him? It's not that easy.
Yes. Why?
Well, I mean, I think for anybody, like I know, like real life examples, I know people who, where either their husbands have beaten them or they're abused. It's never just as easy as just being able to leave the situation. I mean, there's a bond, there's an attachment, emotionally, physically, to where even though they might be doing abusive things to you, it's just not that easy to just leave somebody who's been a big part of your life. Not to say it's right or wrong, but I think that's what she's saying, is that it's just not that easy to leave this person who at one point you really loved, even though he may be beating you.
But for me, I think that she can't leave him because she is afraid that her love will kill her.
Her love will
Because
her love will kill you.
can
Okay.
hit her like this. But for you said that Nelly not love her too much.
Well, I guess he could kill her though if she stays with him. Right?
Because this man, one hand keep the money and one
Yeah.
hand keep the key.
Yeah, I guess, but he still has been abusing her, beating her up, even while they are together. So yeah, I agree with you.
For my opinion, I think that she is afraid of this love because she afraid that her love will kill her.
Okay, yeah, no, I think that's legitimate. Yeah, that's legitimate. I think that could be the case as well. So, but yeah, basically those situations, in general, those situations just, yeah, they aren't easy to leave, whether or not you're facing threats if you leave the person, like you said, or even just the bond that you've had with that person before they started beating you. It's just, yeah, it's not an easy situation to just leave. They could chase after you, or they could run and try to kill you if you did leave. So yeah, you're right.
Sure.
Yeah.
29 is saying this. The last paragraph say she asked me to get on her house and the film magazine with her picture on the front. What does it mean?
So she asked me to get all her awards, and so the film magazine, I guess there's all these magazines like this that may be talking about movies or awards, and she may have collected all magazines that has her picture on the front that's like featuring her as an actress for a particular movie. So I think that what that's saying is that there's just a bunch of film magazines that happen to be featuring her, talking about her. So it would have her picture on the front of the magazine.
On the front.
Like-
get all the award. Picture on the front.
เขาก็เอามากองๆไว้
Like the cover.
เอามากองเอาไว้อะ
Mean the picture on the front of the magazine.
Yeah, like the cover of the magazine, yeah.
And I back to 16 page. The second one of the language.
Yeah. Which part?
Give that away.
Yeah, what about it? So the board,
Because he stick and he whenever he felt like it.
okay. So this is back at the boys' home in Delhi. This is a while ago. So back at the boys' home in Delhi, they have this deputy, basically like a guard, who is giving orders to the children. And so he carries a stick, like stick that police may carry here. But he hits the children whenever he feels like it. Normally a stick would be used to keep order or to try to keep somebody away or to try to subdue somebody. And so he may use that for that, but he also uses it whenever he wants to hit people. So, do you know what I mean by the stick? Okay. But he uses it, sorry. Oh, I guess, you know what I'm talking about, like using the stick. Okay. To basically subdue somebody or to keep, yeah.
Because if I use felt like it means no reason.
Okay, so whenever he felt like it, meaning it wasn't necessarily just because he had to, like to discipline somebody, but more so just whenever he wanted to. So he may have done it in times where he may not needed to have done it. So yeah, he just did it whenever he felt like it. Yeah. Okay. So page 32. We'll finish up reading this chapter and then stop. So a soldier's story. Page 32. Who do we leave off with?
We heard the air red, warning siren. At 8:30, and everyone in the shop hurried to the large basement under the school building. The garbage pails, the neatness of the backpack, Mr. Wagner, Mr. Kukani, Mrs. Down,
Yeah, you have a hard paragraph.
Mr. Sharp and Mrs. Bowie. There were a few chairs, a table, and a small television in the basement. It was hot, but we felt safe there. It was the first night of the war. The woman sat and talked, but the men listened carefully to the news. We shouldn't ran around the room shouting and playing war games. We also talked about the war. It's very exciting, I said. My employer has given me a week's holiday because of the war. Yes, said, who told? And my school is closed for a week. I wish that we could have a war every month, said Deyanich.
Don't be stupid. Someone shouts at us. We turned and saw an old man. He was tall and thin. And had only one leg. War is very serious, he said. People are killed in wars. We learned that the man's name was Aron and that he was an old soldier. Which war did you fight in? Mr. Wagner asked him. The war in 1971, said Mr. Singh. The last real war. Do you want to hear my story? We all sat around the old soldier and Mr. Wagner turned off the television. Aron started speaking what a dreaming, faraway look in his eyes. It began on the 3rd of December 1971, he said. On the same day, my wife wrote to tell me that our first children had been born. child had been born a boy.
Unless you had twins.
I will pray for your safety, Zero. That night, Pakistan carried out an attack on several out airfields. Then soldiers began attacking us in Cham, a village in the north. I was in Cham with my regiment. I was in a bunker with 3 men. Savinder Singh, Rajesh Wars, and Kamal Singh, and Kanel Singh. Kanel was the best. He was not afraid of dying, but he was afraid of being buried. When the Pakistanis found dead Indian soldiers, they did not return them to us. They buried their bodies in a Muslim manner and did not cremate. Then, like Hindus, Sir, Kanel said to me, if I die, promise me that you'll see that I'm cremated. You're not going to die, I told him, but he made me promise. So on the night of the 3rd of December, the enemy started shooting rockets at us. We began moving forward quietly in a straight line. Suddenly, a rocket exploded behind us, killing Surrender and Rajeshwar. Kanel had a wound in his stomach, but I was only slightly hurt. I quickly spoke to my commander on the radio and told him what had happened. The enemy was launching rocket from bunker, sir, I said. I cannot send anyone to help you. I won't, he said, but try to destroy the rocket launcher. I'm going to what the enemy bunker. I took Kanya.
But you will kill, sir. He said, let me do it. You have a fire and a son. I have no one, but don't forget your promise. And before I could speak, he pulled the gun from my hand and ran forward. Long live Mother India, he cried. What happened to him after Mr. Bill? He killed the 3 enemy soldiers with the longest barrel, but then he too was shot dead, said Aron Singh. I didn't move for nearly 2 hours. Kanel's body was lying near the enemy barrel, and I was thinking about my promise. But how many Pakistani soldiers were still around, I didn't know. By 3 o'clock in the morning, the guns had stopped, and everything was quiet. At last, I moved slowly towards the enemy barrel. This was about 60 or 70 meters away. Suddenly, in front of me, I heard the sound of footsteps. They came nearer and nearer. Then I saw the light as upon his knee, so the light a cigarette. He was no more than 3 meters away from me. I ran forward and he threw loud. Then he saw my gun and dropped. Please don't kill me, he cried.
How many of you are still here? I asked him. I don't know, he said. I'm lost and I'm trying to find my way back. Please don't kill me. You are the enemy, I told him. But I'm also an ordinary man like you, he said. I have a wife and a baby girl. My daughter was born 10 days ago, and I don't want to die without even seeing her face. I also have a wife and this baby son. I said, but what would you have done to me? I would have killed you, he said after a moment. I know that we are soldiers, I said. We have to kill the enemy, but I promise to have you buried. Then I killed him silently with my very, very
Yeah, I thought they were going to bond, but yeah, they are. If you would continue.
Another one, or
Yeah, if you want to go, yeah, that's fine.
Mrs. Devil closes her eyes. Terrible, terrible, she said. Voice terrible, said, but was singing. What happened next? Asked Mr. Waggle. I carried Canyon's body back to my commander, said while was singing. The next morning, we cleaned Colonel. He was over an MVC. What an MVC happened? Diana's Maharaj Chatra said Bhavan Singh. It's one of the highest awards for bravery given in the Indian Armed Forces. The highest is the PVC of Param Chatra. What award did you get? Asked Dennis. I did not get an award, said the old soldier, but it's not the end of my story. I must tell you about Mahinda Bride. Mr. Walker looked at his watch. We had enough excitement for one night, he said. And it's past midnight, so we can return to our house.
Okay, thank you. So, again, just so you guys know, we started this chapter off by talking about what was it? War, yes. So this movie, or not movie, this chapter starts off with war happening. So we, Salim and Ram, wake up to these air raid sirens at 8:30 in the morning. And so everybody in the shawl goes down to the basement, and it mentions all these people, the Gawkales, the Benays, and I just all his names, Mr. Weigel. But all these people are going down to the basement, including Salim and Ram. And so in the third night of the war, the children are all playing games, thinking that war is fun and that we should have war more often because it's kind of fun and they get to do stuff exciting. But as they're saying that, and as they're playing games, one man says, "Don't be stupid," and turns to them and says, "War is very serious. People get killed in wars." And this man who's talking, Balwant Singh, it was an old soldier. And so he starts telling the story about his time in war back in 1971. So most of what we just read was him telling his story. Just so you guys know, it's him telling his story about his time in war back in 1971. And talking about it until he meets this Pakistani soldier. And they both talk about how, well, please don't kill me. I'm a man, I'm a human being just like you are. I have a daughter whose face I haven't even seen yet. And this guy says, well, I'm the same way. I have son. But what does he do? Kills him. So I thought they were going to become friends, but they don't. So he kills him, but he has him cremated, right? And so now it's transitioning back into present day, him telling the story, and he's saying how he won an award, or no, that this guy who had killed, he was awarded an MVC, which an MVC stands for what? Mahavir Chakra?
Yeah.
So it's, yeah, you're right. One of the highest awards given in the Indian Armed Forces. So they asked this guy who was telling the story, what award did you get? He said, I did not get an award. But it's not the end of my story. I must tell you about the Mandala Bridge. So Mr. Wagel looks at his watch. He said, we've had enough excitement for one night, and it's past midnight, so we can return to our houses. Let's see. Let's stop right there. I don't want to begin another part. So page 35 is what we will pick up tomorrow. We won't read the whole time tomorrow. What we'll do is exercises as well, just to keep it a little more diverse. Any questions? Not even yet.
Would you mind pronouncing regiment? W-O-U-N-D-L-A-U-N-C-H.
Regiment?
Regiment?
I-E-D-I-M-E-N-T. Regiment.
Oh yeah, regiment.
Regiment.
Yeah.
W-O-U-N-D.
So where are you at?
It's a pen.
What page?
33.
33? Where on page 33?
33.
Middle? Okay.
W-O-U-N-D.
Oh, wound.
Wood.
Wound. So there's an N in there, so it's not wound, but wound.
Wood.
Wound. So it's maybe a hard word to say. So there's an N there, so it can't just be wound. It's wound. Wound. Do you know what wound is? Okay.
L-A-U-N-C-H.
What is it?
The enemy Aron.
Do you know what that means? Launching?
I know,
You do know? Okay.
but I don't know pronounce.
Oh, pronounce. So it'd be just the basic form of the word launch. 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 Yeah. So you know the word. Long. It's the similar pronunciation as launch. Yeah. Any other questions? I'm happy to answer anything, so. Any questions about the story? Any general questions? Random questions? And for those of you who turned in, I know I have one of yours, I know I have one of yours. I'll look at those tonight, and then I'll give those back to you tomorrow. The idioms, those papers, I'll give those back to you tomorrow. Well, if you guys have any questions that come up, I'll be here for the next 5 to 10 minutes. I have another class I have to teach after this. So if any of you want to learn accounting, you can go to that class. But that's all I have. But you guys can leave. But,
Accounting?
yeah.
Who teach?
Oh,
Where is it?
it's at what
My,
yeah.
what time you
It's at 1:30.
in the afternoon?
Yeah.
Which kind of accounting do you want to teach me? What kind of accounting do you want?
It's it's financial accounting. So that's what I used to do. I was never an English teacher. So accounting is what I used to do. No, it's at Wat Mai. It's at Sadi Pranit Soy 44. But yeah.
Is it related about computer or about computer? So you teach like